To cut through some of the confusion surrounding Bitcoin, we need to separate it into two components. On one hand, you have Bitcoin the token, a snippet of code that represents ownership of a digital concept, sort of like a virtual IOU. On the other hand, you have Bitcoin the protocol, a distributed network that maintains a ledger of balances of Bitcoin the token. Both are referred to as Bitcoin. The system enables payments to be sent between users without passing through a central authority, such as a bank or payment gateway. It is created and held electronically. Bitcoins aren't printed like dollars or euros, they're produced by computers all around the world using free software. It was the first example of what we today call cryptocurrencies, a growing asset class that shares some characteristics of traditional currencies with verification based on cryptography. A pseudonymous software developer going by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto proposed Bitcoin in 2008 as an electronic payment system based on mathematical proof. The idea was to produce a means of exchange, independent of any central authority, that could be transferred electronically by a secure, verifiable, and immutable way. To this day, no one knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, whether it's an organization or a single individual. Bitcoin can be used to pay for things electronically, if both parties are willing, of course. In that sense, it's like conventional dollars, euros, or even the yen, which are also traded digitally. But it differs from fiat digital currency in several very important ways. Bitcoin's most important characteristic is that it's decentralized. No single institution controls the Bitcoin network. It is maintained by a group of volunteer coders and run by an open network of dedicated computers spread around the world. This attracts individuals and groups that are uncomfortable with the control that banks or government institutions have over their money. Bitcoin also solves the double spending problem of electronic currencies, in which digital currencies can easily be copied and reused, through an ingenious combination of cryptography and economic incentives. In electronic fiat currency, this function is fulfilled by banks, which gives them control over the traditional system. With Bitcoin, the integrity of the transactions is maintained by a distributed and open network owned by no one. Fiat currencies, whether that be the dollar, euro, or even the yen, have an unlimited supply. Central banks can issue as many as they want and can attempt to manipulate a currency's value relative to others. Holders of the currency, especially citizens within that alternative, bear the cost. With Bitcoin, on the other hand, the supply is tightly controlled by underlying algorithms. A small number of new Bitcoins trickle out every hour and will continue to do so at a diminishing rate until a maximum of 21 million have been reached. This makes Bitcoin more attractive as an asset in theory, and if demand grows and supply remains the same, the value of the Bitcoin, of course, will increase. While senders of traditional electronic payments are usually identified for verification purposes, complying with anti-money laundering and other legislations, users of Bitcoin in theory operate in semi-anonymity. Since there is no central validator, users do not need to identify themselves when sending Bitcoin to another user. When a transaction request is submitted, the protocol checks all previous transactions to confirm that the sender has the necessary Bitcoin as well as the authority to send them. The system does not need to know his or her identity. In practice, each user is identified by the address of his or her wallet. Transactions can, with some effort, be tracked this way. Also, unfortunately, law enforcement have developed methods to identify users if necessary. Furthermore, most exchanges are required by law to perform identity checks on their customers before they are allowed to buy or sell Bitcoin, facilitating another way that Bitcoin usage can be tracked. Since the network is transparent, the progress of a particular transaction is visible to all. This makes Bitcoin not an ideal currency for criminals, terrorists, or even money launderers. Bitcoin transactions cannot be reversed, unlike electronic fiat transactions. This is because there is no central adjudicator that can say, okay, return the money. If a transaction is recorded on the network and if more than an hour has passed, it is impossible to modify. While this may disquiet some, it does mean that any transaction on the Bitcoin network cannot be tampered with. The smallest unit of a Bitcoin is called a Satoshi. It is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. And there you have it, a 5-minute video answering your question, what is Bitcoin? If you did find this video informative, I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit that thumbs up button. And if you want more quality cryptocurrency content in the future, feel free to hit that subscribe button and join into the crypto fiend community. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next.